Welcome to NextLabs Expert Q&A Series. This series was designed to inform you of relevant cybersecurity topics via expert knowledge.
In this episode, our guest Alper Kerman will cover why is Zero Trust architecture important. Alper Kerman is a security engineer and project manager at the National Cybersecurity Center of Excellence, NCCoE, a part of the National Institute of Standards and Technology NIST. Alper currently serves as the technical lead for the Zero Trust demonstration project at the NCCoE and has more than 30 years of experience in IT that spans software engineering, application security, and IT project management for other government agencies as well as private industry. Now, let's move into the Q&A. What is ZTA?
So, ZTA means Zero Trust Architecture. In order to describe Zero Trust Architecture, we must first understand what Zero Trust is. Zero Trust is basically the most relevant cybersecurity strategy that provides a set of principles and approaches to help us in enforcing more accurate access decisions in today's networks, with the assumption that these networks are already compromised. It focuses more on users, assets, and resources, rather than completely relying on conventional network perimeters that used to be adopted back in the early days of traditional network environments. Zero Trust architecture, on the other hand, is essentially an end product of an enterprise's cybersecurity planning that utilizes Zero Trust principles and approaches and also incorporates component relationships, workflow planning, and access policies.
Why is ZTA effective?
So there are a number of reasons why ZTAs are so effective. First of all, ZTAs engage in continuous verification conduct in order to verify access requests in network environments. This is because ZTAs assume that no matter where you are in a network, you cannot be trusted until you're effectively verified, which means that there's no implicit trust automatically granted to any actor on a network, whether or not the network is inside of an overarching perimeter. Second, ZTAs give us the ability and the option to enforce access decisions as granular as we need to in protecting our resources, which is the very security mechanism that prevents lateral movements or east-west traffic of bad actors within networks. And third, ZTAs become more robust over time in terms of their security postures. This is because ZTAs collect information about everything going on in a network in terms of what's on the network, who's on the network, what resources are being accessed, who's accessing them, so on and so forth. And then the information collected by ZTAs can be used to fine-tune existing access policies as well as create more granular ones.
What are some important capabilities to consider for ZTA deployments?
So there are many types of capabilities that make up a ZTA deployment. First of all, we need to protect all our endpoints the best way that we can. And so in order to achieve that goal, we need to bring on technologies that can help with endpoint security tasks for application protection, device control and compliance, vulnerability and threat mitigation, malware protection, encryption in transit, and at rest. But we also need technologies that can help us with security analytics tasks for network monitoring, endpoint monitoring, threat intelligence. We need technologies that can help us with identity tasks for identity management, access management, federation, identity governance. We also need technologies that can help us with data security tasks for achieving data integrity, data confidentiality, and availability. And finally, we also need technologies that can play the roles of logical components that are needed in orchestrating ZTAs, such as policy engines, policy administrators, policy enforcement points, and policy information points. I refer to policy engine as the brains of a ZTA deployment, as it is a component that evaluates every access request based on the telemetry that it receives from other capabilities within the environment, which we typically refer to it as policy information points or the advisors. Moreover, policy engine is usually paired with the policy administrator component, as the policy engine makes and logs the final decision as approved or denied. policy administrator executes that decision by coordinating and configuring a relevant policy enforcement point that is responsible for protecting a resource or set of resources within the environment.
This concludes Episode 2, Why is Zero Trust Architecture Important? Thank you very much for watching and stay tuned for Episode 3 where we will have more insights from a new expert.